Something has changed in you, and you felt it. You wouldn't know how to explain it to anyone, perhaps you wouldn't even know how to explain it to yourself, but you know you felt it. It was after that small choice, that silent gesture that no one saw, that moment when you didn't respond the way you always responded. It may have been a silence when you were about to scream, a calm word when you were about to lash out, an internal decision not to fall into the old pattern, a forgiveness that no one heard, but that hurt inside because it went against everything your memory demanded. It may have been a conscious withdrawal from a fight you always picked. It may have been a no said with firmness, where before there was only surrender. It may have been a discreet generosity towards someone who will never know. And since that moment, something is different. The air is different. Your sleep is different. People react to you in a way you cannot name. You think you are exaggerating, that it is a coincidence, that it is exhaustion. It is not. In the next few minutes, I will show you 3 things that will pull you out of the dark. First, what exactly you did without realizing it, and why it is so rare that most people go their entire lives without doing it even once. Second, what is the biblical name, the scientific name, and the ancestral name for this internal movement, and why it triggers a reorganization that you cannot yet see, but which is already happening inside and outside of you. And third, how to recognize the signs that the miracle, this specific miracle that was released because of what you did, has already begun to manifest. Because it does not arrive with fanfare. It does not come with thunder. It comes in the form of doors that open without a sound, of people who return without warning, of circumstances that reorganize themselves while you sleep. And if you don't know what is happening, you might interrupt the process thinking it is just a coincidence. You might doubt when you should hold firm. You might speak when you should be silent. You might force when you should wait. Stay with me until the end.
Attention, you need to prepare now. I put together an exclusive resource for those who feel set apart for something greater, but live surrounded by noise, distractions, and mental overload. This is a 30-day journey that will transform your life, a guided path to armor your mind and prepare for what's coming, with daily practices of focus, boundaries, and discipline. Stop negotiating with the noise. Learn to spot distractions before they control you and strengthen your mind. Also available in an immersive audio version. Over 10,000 readers have already transformed their lives through the 30-day journey. Thousands of people have already started this transformation. People like you who were tired of living in the fog, ordinary people who decided to stop accepting mental chaos. Take advantage of this limited time offer only this month. Access your link just below in the pinned comment.
This video is not like the others, and before continuing, subscribe to the channel, because what comes after this video is a direct sequence of it, and those who are not subscribed will miss out. Let's start with the symptoms, because almost no one tells you this, but there is a very specific set of signs that appear when an internal reorganization has been released, and you need to know how to identify them, because most people feel these signs and ignore them. Worse, they attribute the signs to the wrong cause and lose the chance to cooperate with the process. The first symptom is an inexplicable peace in the middle of an unresolved storm. Notice, the bills continue. The problem with that person continues. The situation at work continues. Perhaps that child still hasn't called. Perhaps that exam is still scheduled. Perhaps that financial pending issue is still weighing on you, but something inside you is no longer as distressed as it was. You are not alienated. You are not pretending. You are not in denial. You are simply on another frequency, as if a piece of you had gone up a floor and was looking at everything from above. You catch yourself taking a deep breath in moments when before your stomach would have been in knots. You turn on the kitchen faucet, wash the dishes, and realize you are looking out the window with a calm you haven't had in months. You wake up in the middle of the night, and instead of the usual tightness in your chest, you feel only silence. This is the first sign. The second symptom is what we call strategic silence around you. People who wouldn't stop bothering you, making demands, meddling, dumping weight on you, suddenly disappeared. They stopped sending messages. They don't look for you. And the funny thing is that you don't feel anger. You don't feel aggressive relief, you feel a space. This space is not abandonment, it is strategic distancing. It is as if an invisible hand had created a functional distance so that something new could fit into your field. Into your field of existence, into your emotional field, into your spiritual field. What is truly yours can only arrive in a space that has been emptied first. And that is why so many people misread it. They think the silence is abandonment and rush to fill the space again, with anything, with anyone, and by doing so, they close the door to what was arriving. Learn to read silence as a positive sign. When it comes after a movement of coherence, it is not punishment, it is preparation. The third symptom is the dreams. You are dreaming differently. Perhaps you don't even remember the dreams, but you wake up with sensations. You wake up with names in your head that you haven't thought of in years. You wake up with the impression that you talk to someone you haven't seen in a long time, or with someone who has already departed. You wake up crying for no reason, or laughing. You wake up with a scent in your memory, with a ready-made phrase, with a certainty you cannot explain. Sleep is the place where the soul reorganizes itself. And when there is a miracle being processed, the soul works at night on what the rational mind wouldn't be able to process by day. Researchers at the Universidade Federal do Rio de Janeiro, in studies on sleep and emotional processing, show that during the deepest phases of sleep, the brain reprocesses old memories and integrates them with recent experiences, redesigning emotional patterns that had been frozen for years. When you make a movement of coherence during the day, at night the brain works to align deep memory with the new decision. That is why old faces return in dreams, old scenarios, old conversations. The system is rewriting, and what is being written now will appear on the material plane in the coming days and weeks. The fourth symptom is physical, and here many people misread it. You may be feeling a weight lifting from your shoulders little by little. You may be feeling your chest more open, your breathing deeper, your body wanting to sleep more or wanting to move more. There may be pains that appear in old places, joints that were holding emotional memory, regions of the body that locked up at some point in life and that are now releasing what they were holding. The body participates in the process. It is not left out. It is part of the miracle. But it is important for me to say clearly, because health must be respected. If you have any physical symptom that worries you, see a doctor. Spirituality does not replace clinical care. The two things go together. What I am describing here is the subtle dimension, the layer that overlaps with physical care. It does not replace it. Get the exam when you need to. Go to the office when you need to. Physical care is part of coherence too. Ignoring the body is never spirituality. It is neglect. And the fifth symptom is the most subtle of all. You're thinking about things you stopped thinking about a long time ago. Old dreams, stored projects, people you decided to forget, places where you were happy, that course you wanted to take, that city you always wanted to live in, that business you dreamed of starting before life got tight, that instrument you used to play, that notebook you used to fill, that idea you kept in the drawer. It is not nostalgia. It is reactivation. When a reorganization happens, it doesn't necessarily bring new things. It brings back what was waiting for the right moment to return. And the right moment is now. But why now? Why are these things happening precisely now? And what exactly did you do to unlock this? This is where the story gets really interesting. Because what you did has three names, one in the Bible, one in science, one in the ancestral language of the sages. And all three describe the same phenomenon from different angles. Let's go to the first name. There is a woman in the Bible whom few know in depth, and her story is one of the most powerful keys that exist to understand what happened to you. Her name is Abigail. The story is in the first book of Samuel, chapter 25. She lived in Carmel in the mountainous region of Judah and was married to a man named Nabal, described by the scriptures themselves as harsh, rude, and unjust. The name Nabal in Hebrew literally means fool, senseless. David, before he was king, was in the wilderness of Paran with his men. He had protected Nabal's shepherds from robbers for months without charging anything. When he sent his servants asking only for a little food in return during the shearing time, Nabal humiliated the messengers and sent them all away with words of contempt, asking who this David was, this son of Jesse who went around with bandits. David was enraged. He girded his sword. He ordered his 400 men to gird theirs and march to kill all the men of Nabal's house. It was a certain disproportionate massacre that would have cost the future king his spiritual integrity. And it was at that exact moment that Abigail made a decision. A decision small in format, but gigantic in consequence. Warned by a terrified servant, she took 200 loaves of bread, 2 skins of wine, 5 sheep already prepared, 5 measures of roasted grain, 100 clusters of raisins, and 200 cakes of dried figs, mounted the animals, and went to meet David without saying anything to her husband. When she found him, she got off the animal, prostrated herself with her face to the ground, and spoke with humility, wisdom, and responsibility. She took on a guilt that was not hers to rescue lives that were not only hers. And more, she saw before everyone else David's future as king and prophesied peace over him. And look at what happened. David stopped. He changed. He blessed Abigail, saying she had been sent by God himself to prevent him from committing bloodshed. He returned with the men. There was no massacre. And 10 days later, Nabal died of natural causes. David sent messengers asking for Abigail in marriage. In less than 2 weeks, the silently wronged woman went from wife of a cruel man to future queen of Israel. Because of a single movement, a movement of coherence, of internal order, of not doing the obvious, of not waiting for others to fix the chaos, of going with humility to do what needed to be done. Abigail is the archetype of what happened to you. You made your Abigail movement, and from that movement, a reorganization was released. You haven't seen the marriage to royalty yet, metaphorically speaking, but the massacre was cancelled behind the scenes, and what was being prepared to destroy you was undone without you even knowing. You will never know in this life everything that was avoided that day, and that is fine. You don't need to know, you just need to trust that it was. And here comes the Hebrew name for this phenomenon. The word is mishpat, spelled mem-shin-patet. In general, it is translated as justice, but the meaning is much deeper. Mishpat is the correct ordering of things. It is the state in which every element of reality is in its legitimate place. It is not a punitive justice. It is an architectural, structural justice. It appears more than 400 times in the Hebrew Bible, and in almost all contexts, it carries this notion of restoration of an original order. When the prophets cried out for mishpat, they were not asking for punishment. They were asking for everything to return to where it should be. When you made that gesture, you didn't just do a good act. You restored mishpat in a piece of reality. You returned the correct ordering. And the universe, or the greater intelligence that organizes it, responds to mishpati with a cascade of silent reorganizations. It is a law. It is not a lottery. Scientific research corroborates this in an impressive way. Researchers at Stanford University, in studies on moral decision-making and internal coherence, demonstrate that individuals who act in alignment with their deepest values, even in situations of high emotional cost, show measurable changes in patterns of heart rate variability, nervous system regulation, and sleep quality. The HeartMath Institute in California goes further and shows that there is a physiological state called cardiac coherence, in which the heart enters into sync with the brain, with breathing, and with the autonomic nervous system. People who enter this state of coherence influence the environment around them in a measurable way. The electrical signals of their hearts, captured at a distance, alter the patterns of other hearts in the space. Science is confirming in the laboratory what the ancients called mishpati. Internal coherence is gravitational. It pulls reality into a new format. Research published by the American Psychological Association reinforces that people who make decisions aligned with their deepest identity show lower rates of chronic cortisol and better ability to visualize exit paths in complex situations. This is not a metaphor. It is measurement. It is repeatable. It is observable. And this is where I need to ask you for something quick. If up to this point this video is making sense to you, if it is describing things that you are feeling in this phase, give it a like now. It's not for me. It's for the algorithm to take this message to other people who are feeling the same thing and are not understanding. There are people in silence needing to hear what you are hearing. This like is a form of coherence too. It is an act of kindness to those who are yet to arrive. Let's go to the second biblical archetype, because what you did has multiple layers, and each layer is illuminated by a different story. There is an anonymous woman in the Bible, known only as the widow of Zarephath. The story is in the first book of Kings, chapter 17. The prophet Elijah, in the midst of a great drought decreed as judgment on the kingdom of Israel, is instructed by God to go to Zarephath, foreign territory, outside the borders of his people, and look for a specific widow. When he arrives, he finds the woman gathering sticks at the city gate. He asks for a little water. She goes to get it. He asks for a piece of bread, and she responds with one of the rawest phrases in all of Scripture. She says she has only a handful of flour in a jar and a little oil in a jug, that she is there gathering sticks to make the last bread for herself and her son to eat and then die. It was the end. It was the last act before hunger consumed what was left, and Elijah, with an almost unthinkable spiritual audacity, asks her to make the bread for him first, for the prophet, before her and before the son. He promises from the Lord that the flour would not run out and the oil would not diminish until the rain came. Think about what this woman did. Think about the internal movement she had to make to hand over the last bread before her son. Think about the coherence that requires. Think about the breaking of the pattern that is necessary for a mother on the verge of starvation to trust a foreigner with her son's survival. She did it, and what happened was that the flour did not run out and the oil did not diminish. For days, for weeks, for all the time the drought lasted. A single movement of coherence opened a source that renewed itself on its own. This is your second name. The name of what is happening to you is multiplication from the sacrificial gesture. One of the most specific characteristics of this type of miracle is that it is not dramatic at the beginning. The flour did not appear in sacks, the oil did not pour in rivers. She continued taking from the jar and the jug, but they did not empty. The miracle was in the continuity. It was in the silent renewal. It was in the fact that every time she went to get it, there was some. And that is exactly how yours will work. You will continue to have. You will continue opening the doors, and they will be open. You will continue sending the messages, and the answers will arrive. The jar will not empty. And here comes the Greek name for this phenomenon. The word is mnemosynon, spelled in Greek letters mu nu eta mu omicron sigma upsilon nu omicron nu. It appears in the book of Acts chapter 10 verse 4 in the story of the centurion Cornelius. An angel appears to Cornelius and says that his prayers and his alms have gone up before God as a mnemosynon, a memorial. The word literally means something that makes one remember, something that becomes a permanent mark, something that ascends to the higher plane and remains recorded indelibly. The ancients used this word to describe stone inscriptions that survived empires. Stellae, eternal markers. Ancient theology taught that certain human acts do not dissipate in time. They are recorded. They ascend. They become catalysts for future events. When you made your gesture, it became a mnemosynon. It was not a common act. It was an act that entered the records of what the ancients called the books of heaven. And once recorded, it triggers a chain of responses on the material plane. And here we reach the third archetype, Cornelius himself. This Roman centurion, commander of 100 soldiers in the cohort called Italian, lived in Caesarea, a port city built by Herod. He was not a Jew, he was a foreigner, he was a military man. He was a man of the empire, someone who in the religious logic of the time would never have direct access to the promises. But the scriptures describe that he feared God, gave many alms to the people, and prayed continually. Note the word continually. It was not an isolated action. It was a pattern of coherence sustained over months, years, perhaps an entire lifetime. His whole house also feared God. He had discipled his own children and soldiers in coherence. And at a certain moment, the accumulation of this coherence reached a critical mass. Around the 9th hour, 3 in the afternoon during prayer, an angel appeared. He said that his alms and prayers had gone up as a memorial. He told him to fetch Peter in Joppa. And while the messengers were traveling, Peter was receiving on the roof of a house a vision of a sheet descending from heaven with animals that were considered impure, hearing the voice that said not to call impure what God had purified. When Cornelius' envoys arrived, Peter understood. He went to Caesarea. And when Peter preached in Cornelius' house, the Holy Spirit fell upon all those present, and it was the first time in the history of Christianity that the Spirit fell upon non-Jews. The entire history of the Christian faith opened up to the world from that house, because of a man whose accumulated internal coherence reached the limit. That small gesture you made is not isolated. It is part of an accumulation. It may be that you don't even remember, but throughout your life, you have made many small gestures of coherence that no one saw, that no one applauded, that no one recognized. They were rising. They were being recorded. And the recent gesture, this one you made now, was what broke the barrier of the critical mass. And once broken, history reorganizes itself around it. And the Greek word for this reorganization is synagos, spelled sigma, upsilon, nu, epsilon, rho, gamma, omicron, sigma. It means working together. It is the root of the word synergy. Paul uses this word in the first letter to the Corinthians when he says that we are co-workers in synagogy of God. The idea is powerful. The human being in coherence becomes a co-worker of the greater intelligence that organizes reality. You are no longer pushing against the current. You have become part of the current. Researchers at the Fundação Oswaldo Cruz Fiocruz, in studies on behavior and well-being, show that individuals who experience sustained states of coherence between values and actions show better immunological markers, better inflammatory regulation, and greater capacity to adapt to chronic stress. The University of São Paulo, in studies by the Institute of Psychology, identified that behaviors of emotional integrity under pressure produce lasting changes in neural networks of the prefrontal cortex, especially in areas associated with decision-making and empathy. The FGV, in studies on leadership and ethics in Brazilian organizations, shows that people who maintain coherence between speech and action in corporate environments reach higher positions of influence over time, even when initially penalized. Datafolha, in research on social behavior in Brazil, points out that Brazilians over 35 who report living in greater coherence with their values show significantly lower levels of anxiety and depressive symptoms. Coherence in Brazil has a name, has data, and has a measurable effect. And now what to do with all this? Because knowing is not enough. You need to know what to do so as not to interrupt the process that is already underway. And here comes the most practical part of the video. The first thing you need to do is not doubt what you are feeling. The biggest trap in moments of silent reorganization is the mind trying to explain the inexplicable and, failing to do so, discarding it. Do not discard it. When you feel that something has changed, something has changed. Your rational mind was not made to capture subtle movements. It was made to solve concrete problems. But what is underway now is not a concrete problem. It is a reorganization, and reorganizations are felt before they are seen. Trust what you are feeling. Write it down if it helps. There are people over 35 who start keeping a simple diary just to record these small daily perceptions. It works. The act of writing anchors the perception. It prevents the rational mind, the next day, from discarding what was felt the day before. One sentence a day is enough. A short observation, a named feeling. This small habit will serve as a map when the process is complete. The second thing you need to do is not go back on the movement. This is the most common mistake. The person makes the gesture of coherence, feels the air change, and 2 or 3 days later, under stress, returns to the old.
Attention, you need to prepare now. I put together an exclusive resource for those who feel set apart for something greater, but live surrounded by noise, distractions, and mental overload. This is a 30-day journey that will transform your life, a guided path to armor your mind and prepare for what's coming, with daily practices of focus, boundaries, and discipline. Stop negotiating with the noise. Learn to spot distractions before they control you and strengthen your mind. Also available in an immersive audio version. Over 10,000 readers have already transformed their lives through the 30-day journey. Thousands of people have already started this transformation. People like you, who were tired of living in the fog, ordinary people who decided to stop accepting mental chaos. Take advantage of this limited time offer only this month. Access your link just below in the pinned comment.